Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets, how to increase your market business success, and in our current climate, maximize safety while providing people with fresh food. Farmers markets are essential. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer or food maker selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast. This week, we're going to talk about making the most of National Farmers Market Week 2021. So excited. It's coming up August 1st through the 7th. I am one of your hosts, Brijet Myers. I'm a longtime Farmers Market Manager, Vendor 101 co-teacher, and education coordinator at Farmers Market Pros.
And I'm Catt White, Director of San Diego Markets, still an active Farmers Market Manager, founder of Farmers Market Pros, and host of Intense, the Farmers Market Conference, coming up next March 2022, live and in person. Everybody's fingers are crossed. And host of the Farmers Market Pros community on Facebook.
And I'm Justine Marzoni-Mead, Tent Talk producer and marketing director for Farmers Market Pros.
Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by the National Farmers Market Coalition, giving farmers markets a voice in public policy and strengthening farmers markets for the benefit of farmers, consumers, and communities. Find more information at farmersmarketcoalition.org or by clicking their logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Welcome back to Tent Talk, everyone. Today on our show, we're talking about how to get ready for, drumroll, National Farmers Market Week, coming up August 1st through the 7th.
Woohoo! Woohoo! It's the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right.
Time of the year.
So magical. So festive.
Yes, we're not used to celebrating things lately, so this will be a nice. The presents are fresh food and vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Fruit and
Yeah,
vegetables.
and
Yes.
Correct.
sales.
And
At
sales.
the farmer's market.
That's right. And respect.
Yes.
And extra work for market managers.
Yeah, okay. That's true, too.
We gotta love it.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yup.
Right.
So, National Farmers Market Week is a great opportunity to show the nation and remind your own participants and followers how much value markets bring to their communities. You can create fun events, specials, contests, and activities, and the week will help boost market attendance and visibility while being loads of fun. Believe us, we know that it can be a lot of work to plan a festive week like this. The good news is that Farmers Market Coalition offers plenty of resources, tools, and fun activities for market managers, vendors, and attendees alike to use for planning and participating in National Farmers Market Week. And we're so grateful for all their
We
tools.
are. They put out a really good timeline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which actually should have started 2 weeks ago. But
I'm sure all of it
come
started
on,
already.
let's get real. We're farmers market managers. We're busy.
Yeah. We love to do things last minute.
We can
That's
knock it
great.
out of the park at the last minute.
I will say starting now, which
Yeah.
we're recommending everybody does, is starting a bit earlier than we usually do, to be honest.
This year we're starting now.
This year we're starting now. That's right. Getting ahead of it.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can do, though. I mean, you could really... There's a million things you could do, so you could
for
just
sure.
take this into
Yeah.
infinity, but...
Well, maybe we should just start with the things that probably take the longest.
Yeah.
And then work up to things that maybe you could do more last minute.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
right now, if you haven't done it yet, you really do want to reach out to your city council, maybe send a letter to your mayor, see if you can get a National Farmers Market Week proclamation for your city. It's amazing how many people have been able to do that.
Yeah.
But you got to get those emails in now, or call, or touch base with that person that's been giving you crazy direction for the last year and a half on how to deal with COVID. Now you've got a relationship
Yeah,
built
you know
up
them
with all
now.
those
You
folks.
have some rapport with your local administrators.
There's
and
trauma bonding with all the agencies that we've been
right.
through. So now you've got a bud, and you
Yeah.
can just call them up or pop them an email and say, how do we get the mayor to do a proclamation this year?
Yeah.
Celebrate it.
It'll be nice because it'll be a nice positive conversation to have after probably a year of some, troubling, perhaps sometimes negative or complaint-style conversations that you might have been having with these people. So it's nice to say, hey, let's celebrate something and let's do something good.
For
yeah,
sure.
and I'm sure that your local politicians or local administrators are probably excited to find ways that they can help small businesses right now, and kind of putting it in that terms, telling people hey, this is a way that you are helping farmers, you're helping local business owners, and helping people build that connection with their local food chains.
This is where it's going to come in really handy if you've been listening to Dar Wolnick all these years at Farmers Market Coalition
Yes.
and accumulating data. Because if you
Yes.
can point out to these folks how many people are employed at farmers markets and how much money it's putting into the local economy and how many small farms and small businesses operate at the farmers market, they're going to be really attached to the idea of celebrating this with you and attaching their names to the whole idea of how productive farmers markets are for their cities.
Yeah, you can make them look good. So
That's right.
Yeah,
go ahead and reach
win-win.
out. Yeah, don't feel shy about reaching out, because I think they always want to be celebrating some things. Politicians have to deal with a lot of stuff that isn't so fun. So to kind of give them this easy, fun thing to participate in, we always have really good luck when we ask local representatives to come out to the market. They love it. Take their picture, like cut a little ribbon or whatever you want to do. Put a little temporary tattoo on their hand.
That's right.
It's like, it's a fun thing to do. And same thing with contacting your local news station or newspaper. They want to print and air these fun stories, like community stories. So what's more community than a farmer's market?
Yeah, they
Nothing
need
else.
stuff to fill their 24-hour news cycle. So, you can put out a press release, or if you live in an area where you already know your news station, you just might send them an email or give them a phone call. You might reach out to your local newspaper and just let them know what you're doing. Give them information about if you are going to do an event at your market, or even just telling them where your market is and the market hours, just reminding people around to help you spread the news.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, farmers markets are such beautiful places. They
Yeah.
always make great backgrounds for any kind of news broadcast, so they're always happy to come out and shoot from there if you give them a chance, give them a little bit of extra notice. Speaking of I Heart Farmers Market's tattoos.
Yeah.
If you haven't ordered those yet from Farmers Market Coalition, get on that right now. You want to make sure that your Farmers Market Coalition membership's up to date and put in your order for those temporary tattoos, because everybody loves those.
Yes, they do. And I will give you a pro tip that we usually bring a few sponges and a few dishes of water so that you can apply them now that COVID restrictions are easing.
Exactly.
Up,
We can do that again this
We
year.
couldn't do that last year because no one was touching anybody. But it was always so fun to stick them on little kids, or the parents can put them on their kids, or you get a group of people at the market and they all wear their little tattoos, and it makes for really great social media content.
Yeah.
Is photos of people with their I Love Farmers Market tattoos.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're also fun just to have throughout the year too.
Yeah.
If you have
Yeah.
extras, and
Little
put one on
handouts.
every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday. Or just get a permanent one. Let's go for it. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's done that yet?
Group tattoo.
Something else you can do is invite local chefs that maybe shop your market, or any kind of surrounding business that's been really supportive of your market. They can come out too and be a part of, it doesn't have to be bigwig constituents and politicians. It can be local champions, people that are on your community association board, or, just people that are really involved in the community. Invite them out and make them feel special to celebrate your market.
Yep.
That's always
Yeah.
fun when we have chefs there that are, have continued to support the market year after year, and they're there to celebrate National Farmers Market Week.
Yeah,
It's a
or
little
people
extra.
that, I don't want to call them influencers, but
Yeah.
we have some friends of the market that shop all the time, and
Yeah.
they have somewhat of a social media presence, and they're always tagging us and sharing our photos. So just letting them know ahead of time, hey, we'd love to have you out at the market and help us celebrate National Farmers Market Week, even if they're not really necessarily doing anything out of the usual that they normally do. It would just be fun for them to know what's going on.
Yeah, I think social media influencers this is great content for them because it's beautiful pictures. They can have something to say. I mean, feed them content. You don't have to give them anything. You can just say, hey, do you want to come out and celebrate? Or you can offer them some market bucks to come out. I mean, if they have a strong following, this is an opportunity to grow your social media following.
Totally.
By really involving people. I'd say probably look for influencers that already at least support local food or have been out to your market specifically, and don't try to make something out of nothing, but clothing influencers, that's not really related. But if someone is into local food, or maybe wellness stuff, they can come out and connect that to your market, and then you can reach all of their followers through that.
And the way to do that, is to give them a little advance notice that you want them to push these hashtags so it all comes back.
Yeah.
So the hashtags that Farmers Market Coalition is pushing this year are hashtag Farmers Market Week, hashtag Love My Market, the one we've been using for a year and a half, hashtag Farmers Markets Are Essential, and then, of course, the hashtag or the tag for your own market.
Yeah.
So, if you put out a little email to some of those folks or a message on Instagram, the ones that, as Justine says, are always out there anyway, and just tell them to kind of add those things to their messages during that week, it'll pull it all back with the attention on your market.
Yeah. And then you can share their photos and things like that. So
Yeah.
Full circle. What else can we do?
Well, the other folks that you want to let know about this are your farmers and vendors.
Don't
'Cause I
forget.
think
Yeah.
Justine was just saying she didn't really even know there was a farmers market week
I
until
didn't.
really recently.
And I remember, well, I mean, the last few years
Sure.
I've known about it, but when I was a vendor, I remember like seeing the like tattoos and I was like, okay, what is this? But it wasn't until I was working with you guys on more farmers market pro stuff and doing operations for the market that I was like, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that if the vendors knew, it would be such a great opportunity. We're always telling people that they need to be, the vendors should also have responsibility for promoting their markets and cross-promoting and tagging. And so I think just a simple email to all your vendors, all your farmers, let everybody know this thing is coming up, and it's, everybody's always looking for stuff to talk about.
And it's celebrating them, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just keep, if you want to roll it in with your vendor advisory or send out an individual thing. Also making, if you're sharing stuff for your market on social media, tag those vendors, tag those farmers, and kind of pull them into the conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Remember that it's not just a national thing. It's personal.
Yeah.
It involves those folks that you buy your eggs from and that you buy your tomatoes from and where you get your salsa. You want to remind people that look at all these human beings that that you've related to, that have stood up for you all year and got you fresh food. This is a time to celebrate them.
Yeah, and the vendors can use it to do like a special deal or do a giveaway or maybe say, we can say, write thank you notes to all your farmers and vendors in the market. And so having
that's a good idea.
we've had that before at our market.
Well, what we've really had at our market in the past, a few years ago, we had a big Hug a Farmer.
Oh, yeah, it's a hug a farmer.
That went downhill last year.
Yeah.
That one we nixed last year.
Sneeze in a farmer's face.
Like a farmer. Yeah, maybe not. Might not be hugging yet. Although that was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, some of the farmers were most of the farmers were into it. Some of the farmers were like, we're not doing that.
You could elbow bump a farmer.
Elbow bump a farmer. That's fun. Air high five a farmer.
There we go.
Yeah,
But we've done it for Thanksgiving, and I think we did it for Farmers Market Week like many years ago. We just brought like blank thank you notes to the info booth or even blank pieces of paper and like some markers and just said, hey, like grab one or two and write a little thank you note to your favorite farmer or vendor at the market and bring it over to them today. And the shoppers were so into it because then they didn't have to like remember to bring something because that's hard when you're like going grocery shopping to remember that on top of everything. And they just got to like show their appreciation for people that they see every week when they do their grocery shopping. So it really brought like community together. Some of our farmers and vendors said it was great because they could like learn their shoppers' names, because sometimes you're just like, hey, it's the guy who buys blueberries from me. It's blueberry guy. But it's like, oh, he signed his name on this card. So it just helps like deepen that connection.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
And a big one is obviously you want to tell your shoppers about this. And if you could give them some heads up, we are always encouraging you to get those email newsletters out. And Catt does a fabulous job every single week. Sometimes it's early Saturday morning. Sometimes it's late Friday night. Sometimes it's Thursday.
That's right.
But it always gets out. And I know that shoppers come to the market. Sometimes they print out their newsletter and they use it as a grocery list. But make sure you communicate that to them. And if you can get it out a week ahead, that'd be fabulous. So you can tell them if you're doing a special event at your market, or maybe there's a couple vendors that are doing special little Farmers Market Week discounts or giveaways or collaborations. Let people know so they can be celebrating all week, and maybe they might bring a friend to the market because
that'd be a good campaign.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like bring a friend to the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another thing that we should be using this week for is bringing new shoppers to the market.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a really good way to like get the attention of people who maybe don't shop the market.
Evangelize.
Yeah,
That's right.
Bring them in because it's like oh, there's a national week for it. That must mean that farmers markets are important.
Yeah.
So stand outside your local grocery store and direct people to your farmers market.
I like it.
We could like douse people in red paint. No, green paint.
Green paint.
Sprouts is going down.
Yeah, you could hire like a trolley to like pick people up from the grocery store and drive them to your market.
Ooh, we're getting salty here on Farmers Market.
I like
Pros.
this.
I love it. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to really like entice people to come to the market and say, hey, just stop by this week because we're celebrating. You don't have to commit to coming here every week. Just come by and, commit to buying 1 pint of strawberries or something like that. And then once they come to the market and they see how great it is and they taste how different the food tastes coming from a farmer's market, you kind of rope them in that way. So this is a great marketing tool for that.
Yeah. Additionally, we mentioned it before, but the Farmers Market Coalition has so many incredible resources, and they just came out with like a little... What do they call it?
It's National Farmers Market Week Toolkit.
Perfect.
Oh, love it.
We always say that they should become the Toolkit Coalition.
Right. Yeah.
But they have a toolkit, and included in that are some really, really amazing graphics. I know you farmers market managers and vendors and farmers, y'all are busy and you don't have time to sit down and make infographics or educational resources. So the Farmers Market Coalition did that for us. And there's downloadable graphics and things that you can share that are not only informative, they're very cute, and they look really nice on social media, and they're very good at communicating the importance of farmers markets, the role they play in the local economy, the role they play in the local food chain, how dollars that you spend at the farmers market get dispersed throughout your city. And all of that is, this is the perfect time of year to not only get new people to the market, but really establish what farmers markets provide in terms of economic support and quality food and community. And so all that stuff is in the Farmers Market Coalition Toolkit. And you can just plop those things right into your newsletter. You don't have to elaborate on them or write a novel about it. You can just share those things that are created for you. And honestly, they're very convincing. I've been radicalized.
Yes.
By just looking at
Well, they have their own data, too. I think it's nice if you don't have the data about your own market. They have, like, national statistics on how farmers markets support farmers and local communities and how it keeps your money in your neighborhood. And I always have felt that's a good selling point to kind of get new people to really appreciate and regularly shop your market is that data. Some people need those numbers. So it's great that the Farmers Market Coalition just puts that together for you, and you just have to put it in.
Share it.
You just gotta share it.
Yeah.
So and then tag the Farmers Market Coalition on social media and stuff. I know they love seeing that, and they'll repost things so then you can kind of reach their followers, and it just kind of brings the farmers market community as a whole, as a national thing, kind of together. So I like what we try to do here at Farmers Market Pros. That's our whole shtick, is kind of bringing that community together. And this week is a really great opportunity to really jump on that.
Yeah.
Get to know other farmers market managers and things like that.
Yeah.
So Farmers Market Coalition has 3 kind of messages for this year's National Farmers Market Week. One is the one we've been using for a while, which is that farmers markets are essential. Kept our local food chains going. It was a way to get out there and have a tiny slice of normalcy and get fresh food all the way through the pandemic. Farmers markets serve as community hubs, despite the fact that we were told not to gather.
We're still a hub.
They are still hubs. We're still hubs, even if we're moving through them quickly, and we can relax a little bit now and meander. And then the other message that they're sharing this year that's kind of a new one is just in a deliberate way, is that the culture of farmers markets is changing. We know that the demographics of farmers markets haven't always reflected the whole community, and we're all working together and really deliberately to make sure that everybody feels welcome at the farmers market, that there's equity in that farmers market space, and working to make farmers markets safe and inviting for all.
Great. I love that they pulled that into
Me too.
the vision for Farmers Market Week, because, it is an amazing, when you look at the statistics of the economics and how it supports small businesses, that's so wonderful, but kind of giving it an even deeper message. It's not just about money. It's not just about eating fresh food. It's also about being this place where people can come together and everyone feels safe and valued and can participate.
Yeah.
So
Those neutral spaces that everybody can enjoy gives us all a chance to get to know each other better, and that's what makes things better. It's hard to not like people that you know face to face.
Yeah, maybe use this week to kind of look around and bring some maybe local music groups to your market that you haven't hosted before, or like do a mini fundraiser to support a new, small farmer or something like that, where you can kind of make a point to contribute to people who maybe haven't felt welcome at the market before, and say, yes, farmers markets are for everyone. This market is for everybody in the community, and just say it out loud, because sometimes it's not understood. Even if that's how you feel, people don't know unless you say it.
And, I haven't ever, for a long time, I didn't realize that, because I've always been a farmer's market shopper. Even when my kids were little and I'm old, it's been a long time that I've been shopping at farmer's markets, but I've heard people express to me that farmer's markets are kind of intimidating. Where do I start? Where do I go? I was on somebody else's podcast, and they were saying, I'm just not sure what to do. Farmers markets are so big and busy, and there's no clear checkout line. And I'm not.
People need structure.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to start. So it's interesting. I think sometimes we're so deep in it, we forget how other people see it. So this is a really good opportunity to break it down for folks and, give them a step-by-step way to approach the farmers market. So it's a great week of the year to take some time to do that.
That's a really good idea. I've been thinking about this too with our market. Like, we've gotten a lot of new followers recently, and it might just be a good time to like reintroduce ourselves on social media. And so that could be maybe something that you do during National Farmers Market Week, is you say like, this is our market. We've been around for this long. This is where you can find us. This is who the market manager is, or these are some staff members.
Here's where you find the farmers. Here's
where you kind of like a little how-to, just in different social media posts, or maybe it's time to like add a little bit more info on your website, or Brijet, you can update our Google Business or your Yelp page and just like get the word out there a little bit more. And I think when you are constantly giving out, just kind of self-disclosing or giving out simple info about your market, it makes it less intimidating because people don't have to ask questions.
Definitely.
All that info is just there, and some people feel like they're going to be silly or dumb if they ask those questions.
Oh,
so
everybody feels
just
like
putting
that,
it out there.
Yeah, make an FAQ. Say like, oh, can I check out at each stand? Does everybody take cash and card? We still get that question so much. It's 2021.
I assume that everybody knows that, but they don't.
People have asked
me. It's a different environment if you're only used to shopping at grocery stores. It does feel different, and I forget that because I've been in it for so long, but it does. It's not obvious to everybody.
Yeah, and people think that these farmers are only going to take cash. They really do. They really do. They go, does anyone here take a card? I'm like, we have 100 vendors here, and 100 of them take cards. Maybe 99. I don't know if Robert might be one or two farmers, but I mean, it's like, of course they take cards, and it's like, oh, they just don't know, and so it's just kind of explaining it and then just making people feel comfortable. I think an FAQ is a really great thing to either post on your social media or add to your website with just some basic questions about it. And then also with EBT users, if your market accepts EBT. Justine made a really good, great reel on our Instagram for our big market about how to use your EBT at the market. And people were really grateful to kind of have those step-by-steps because people don't quite understand because it's not like a grocery store. You have to bring it to the information booth at our market because we're the ones with the terminal. So they can't bring their card to the individual market.
Which is pretty typical. And then you get script or tokens.
Yeah. So but if you're a new farmers market shopper and you've only used your EBT card at a grocery store, it would be confusing. So just spell it out. Yeah. Just say, hey, and you don't have to, if you feel weird about like being so basic and nitty gritty with the like rules of the market or how the market works, just say, hey, we're just calling it an introduction. Like, here's your introduction to the market. If this is your first time, just say it. And so people feel comfortable coming out.
Yeah. Also, tip that we've done in the past too is Brijet did this great thing, especially during COVID when we were getting a lot of questions. We did like a Ask Us Anything on social media where people could ask questions. And if people are being shy and you're not getting the questions you want, just use your personal account and just ask your own questions.
Ask yourself questions.
Just feed in the questions that you want to answer, or have your buddy do it, or have a vendor do it. And then you can share those questions.
It works out really well, because usually when I do that, I'll say it like in Instagram stories. You can ask a question box. I'll just say like, ask the farmers market management anything. And people are shy at first, so they don't really know what you mean by that, like what kind of questions. And so I'll feed like, do you take EBT? Do you have a meat vendor there? Like how many farmers do you have there or something? Or where do I park and things like that? And then the other questions from actual shoppers, they start rolling in because people feel comfortable to ask,
Nobody wants to be first.
No one wants to be first. So that's my pro tip for you. If you do a question box and no one's asking questions, don't feel bad. It's that no one wants to be first. So just feed yourself some questions.
Yeah.
And then it'll get rolling. And people really appreciate it. They really do. And sometimes they ask weird questions, but you just
it's okay.
You don't have to answer every single thing. And sometimes people will like be like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "That's not a question." I mean, it is a question, but that's not what we're doing here.
But yeah, single.
Hey, winky face. But that's a great way to just like get to know your community. I think, as we've always discussed, at the conference and whenever I talk to other market managers, a lot of people don't understand that the market even has a management group. Sure. And so they think all the farmers and vendors just show up. So they don't know who to ask a question.
That's true.
So they end up asking individual farmers and vendors, and hopefully they will point that person to the info booth. But sometimes they'll just answer it with what they think is true. that might not be true or might not be the whole thing. So give your shoppers in your community someone to, like a point person for the market.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this, and the celebration week is a great time to do that. Because it's not like randomly just saying, hey, ask me a question. It's saying, hey, we're celebrating. What do you want to know about farmers markets? Like, what can I tell you about our market?
Yeah, it gives a clear reason to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also had some really fun ideas. It was sad last year because we talked to Stephanie Fenty of the Farmers Market Coalition, and usually it's like, here's all the amazing things you could do at the market.
Paint squash,
face painting,
but none of that stuff. We could do nothing.
Don't celebrate.
Actually, I don't even remember August.
I don't think
it's a blur.
I don't even think we mentioned it. We're like, oh, happy Farmers Market Week.
I mean, one of the rules
Farmers
from our
markets are
city,
essential.
Yeah, farmers markets are essential. That's about all we could cling to. Because remember last year at this time, one of the things that the city said to us directly and specifically was, you need to take the fun out of farmers markets.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
So,
told us that.
it was sad.
I'm gonna print that email out and frame it.
But this year we can do some more fun stuff again.
Yeah.
And so, what are some ideas? I mean, we talked about, I love farmers market tattoos.
Scavenger hunts are awesome.
Okay, explain how. I remember us doing that one of those at the North Park Market years and years and years ago. And it was really fun. But
So we just print out a sheet with things that you've got to find. It's really fun for kids and families.
or it's kind of like a bingo sheet. Type
Yes,
thing.
bingo
like a bingo
sheets are the
sheet.
most fun, where you get bingo by finding, you got to find a strawberry, and you got to find, sometimes for Pride Week, we do a rainbow kind of
that's
bingo
fun.
card, so you got to find a blue food, and you got to find a red food, you got to
We can
find
do that
a
for
yellow
Farmers
food.
Market Week
And-
too. You can
yeah,
just
which is
say,
great.
taste the rainbow or something.
Taste the rainbow,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, so those are cool. We usually throw in a couple of little community things, so you have to find a specific landmark in the neighborhood around your market
that's
to add to it. So you get them wandering through the neighborhood too, which your local businesses will love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could do something like, you have to ask a farmer what their name is and then
Right.
write their name down.
Exactly.
Or,
So make it specific. Make sure that it really encourages them to participate.
or eat a sample of a new food that you've never tried before.
Oh,
then
we
buy
can
it.
sample again.
Oh, we can sample again. Oh, yay. Yeah, like try something you've never tried. We've done that before when we have like back to school week at the market. So bring a bunch of kids and have them, make that, what is it, like a produce promise pledge or
Yeah.
something, where like you'll try a new fruit or vegetable.
cute. Yeah.
So yeah, scavenger hunts are fun, and it's really like limitless what you can do at the market. You can make them really simple. You can just say like, hey, find 3 or 5 things. Or you can do a big page, and that also translates to social media. So you can say, you can have a scavenger hunt if you're savvy enough on your social media. Say, hey, post a picture of
Oh, that's smart.
a blood orange,
that's a really
and post
good
a picture
idea.
of an asparagus, and post a picture of Daniel from Gay 10 Farms.
Yeah.
And so they have to go find like specific things.
Oh,
and
I like
then,
that.
Yeah.
And then have prizes and maybe do a drawing for everybody that completes it.
Yeah, so you can do like a little sheet, like a 1 page, and then they just plug it in the boxes and then tag you.
Oh, I
Oh,
like
that'd
that.
be fun because you could kind of do like a social media giveaway thing where it's
Yeah.
like, if you tag us and then everybody that participates,
Have a drawing. or-
one
yeah.
person
Yeah.
wins like a bundle of things that people donated.
And
Or
everybody wins an I Love Farmers Markets tattoo.
Yeah. Or maybe you could do something like you could give away some like market swag. So like if
shopping
you have
bag,
a t-shirt of your farmer's market or a reusable tote bag or a coffee mug, you can kind of, give away some of those things, or
great.
maybe some market bucks to encourage people to shop more,
Yeah, or call Sticker Mule and order some keychains or stickers, or they'll print anything under the sun. So
True.
Yeah,
And-
and they'll do it fast, so you still have time.
Yeah.
If you're
You
2
still have
weeks
time.
out.
Jump on it now. Those folks, I think they make that stuff in a microwave or something.
It
Turns
pops
around so
out.
quickly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are fun. This is a good time of year, as long as you're celebrating Farmers Market Week, to do like a dot survey. So, put those big sheets up on an easel and have people stick a dot on the page for how often they come or why they come. Do they come for vegetables or do they come for cupcakes? You know those
Yeah.
answers, but
Definitely
hopefully
cupcakes.
both. Do all
Yeah.
of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good time for surveys and things. We did ask our Farmers Market Pros community what kind of things they do. And Cara May at the Napa Farmers Market, she said it's not super exciting, although I think it's pretty exciting. But we're going to go to our City Council and County Board of Supervisors for the first time to get a proclamation for National Farmers Market Week. We'll start using that platform as an annual State of the Farmers Market report, which I think is awesome, especially for
that's
our City Council,
cool.
who's now our landlord as of this year. So I think they moved on to a city property where they weren't
Oh, wow.
before.
That's a really great idea.
That's a great idea. We have done those before, like an annual report for the farmers market. I used to do that for the North Park Market. And it was just information of the year. So I know last year was, not many exciting things to talk about, but under a normal year.
We reopened!
Yeah. Woo! You might say like, oh, we brought on like this many small farmers, or we nurtured this many vendors and now they're thriving at the market, or this market vendor opened up a restaurant. I mean, just like little things, exciting things that happen at the market. We got new lights for our evening market in the winter. It was really exciting. And just a picture of your staff like putting lights up, or we got new tablecloths, just anything that's like fun that you can take a picture of and put in the report. And then if you are getting any kind of data, even if it's how many vendors you have at the market and what percentage is farmers, it doesn't have to be too complicated. And just like little bios about your staff and such. I mean, that's a good report to put out to give to your neighborhood associations and city council people, and then also shoppers, like a little win sheet. And you can put it out on social media. It's fun because people, like we said, they don't know as much as we know, and you have to kind of put those different glasses on to see your market through the eyes of someone who isn't behind the scenes. So give them that information. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they probably don't know what the reach is and how many people it involves and how many people it employs and what kind of things are exciting for farmers market people.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say about the DOT survey, I think that's a great time to do that during National Farmers Market Week. Also for shoppers who might think it's weird, it's like if you attach it to a special time of year, like the National Farmers Market Week, it kind of just makes logistical sense for people. Like, oh, they're doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
And also our episode we did a couple weeks ago with Dar Wolnick from Farmers Market Coalition, she kind of gave some tips on there about different ways to collect data at the market. And the FMC website has some more information too. So if you want to do that as a special event with National Farmers Market Week, there's lots of resources out there of how to do that.
Maybe dedicate a specific tent booth space during National Farmers Market Week to do those celebratory things.
Yeah.
Put one of your staff folks in there and do your DOT survey and pass out tattoos and, make it a thing.
Yeah. And you can say, if you're like a little unsure or like embarrassed to be asking people for information, you can just say, the National Farmers Market Coalition is asking us to collect this data. We have to do what they say.
True.
Dar told me to.
Yes.
The data wizard.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, you can tell them that someone else sent you to collect that data.
That's right.
And then share it. Share it with other markets
Make
and
me
share
look
it with your
good.
coalition.
Fill out this dot.
Yeah.
So Nia Carson at the Jamestown Public Market says, we're also having a proclamation, and our city, I love this one, our city will be raising a flag with our logo, which was their idea,
that's really
and we
cute.
found it to be super cool. We'll also be having a farm tour event with one of our farms and have our distillery vendor present too. Woo!
Distillery vendor?
Say what?
We need one of those.
To create a nice fundraising and educational event. We're quite excited for the week this year.
I love it.
That's
I want
really
a flag.
Me too. We could put flags on the piazza.
Yeah, let's put flags on the piazza.
Yeah.
Let's make the county light up the county building with our colors.
With purple.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah, that's such a good idea.
So
and
many
it is
things to
very
do.
exciting that now, things are reopening. Maybe one of your farmers wants to do a farm tour, or maybe you can get a local chef to do a demo at your market.
Yeah, that's a good
or
idea.
maybe this is an opportunity that you can finally pull in a sponsor to, have a sponsor booth at your market and just attach it to this, like, hey, we'd love you to help us celebrate this special week.
Yeah, for sure. I think chef demos, I've kind of put that idea on the back burner for so long, but that's a great thing to have at your market. It
People
really
love
is.
those.
Yeah, it takes a little trial and error to figure out the best system to do it. We can post some pictures of demos that we've done at our market before, but the chefs love it, and they get to pass out, menus to their restaurant, and you can tell them to do whatever. They can go around, they can make a fruit salad if they want to do something easy, and we've had people do whole rockfish fillet and cooking a whole 3-course meal at the market. So it's whatever you want to do, and it's always great to have little samples or get pictures with the kids and things like that. I mean, it's just a really fun thing to have there. Just tie in that food element of the market.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to be back to times when we can actually do hands-on thing at the
I haven't
market.
even been thinking about it in so long, and it's just bringing back all these memories. Justine and I were looking through photos, and I was like, oh, I miss these things that we used to do at the market. So I'm excited to kind of get back to it.
That we're
Yeah.
back.
Yes, let's
And
stay
excited
safe.
to celebrate National Farmers Market Week. Thank you, Farmers Market Coalition, for putting it together.
For sure.
So thanks for listening today, and big thanks to Farmers Market Coalition. Did I just say that? For supporting farmers, market operators, and communities, and for their support of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. Find more information on FMC membership by clicking their logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Farmers markets are all about community, and all of us, operators, farmers, and vendors, keep learning. Connect with people just like you from various parts of the country and share what's happening in your area in the terrific conversations over in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community. Please find us there, answer the 3 qualifying questions, and join the group. You can also message us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros or email us at connect@farmersmarketpros.com. If you're just getting started in farmers markets, check out our Vendor 101 online course at farmersmarketpros.com. Thanks for listening to Tent Talk. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you access your podcasts, and tell us and others how you're enjoying Tent Talk. If you are listening on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss the next episode. Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is proudly produced by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded and edited by Justine Marzoni Mead. Original music by David Mead. Thank you so much for listening today, and we will have another great episode next week, so tune in.